Good afternoon, students. Today we'll discuss about a brief introduction into the water technology. So, the water technology uh, deals with the primarily the sources of water. The sources of water includes the first source of water is rainwater, and the second is the river water, and the third one is the sea water. And the fourth one, which is the underground water. Underground water is spring as well as well water. In the water, there are different levels of impurities are present in the water. So impurities present in the water includes mainly the all natural water supplies, irrespective of the source, contain impurities, which may be broadly classified into four different categories. The one is the impurities which is in the dissolved form. That impurities are called as some dissolved impurities. And the second type of impurity which is the suspended impurities. And the third type of the impurities is that dissolved gases. So these dissolved gases mainly the oxygen, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and traces of nitrogen oxide gas and the organic matter. So the organic matter includes here is biodegradable organic matter as well as bio non-degradable organic matter. So the impurities present in the water is mainly classified into four different categories. One is dissolved impurities, second one is the suspended impurities, and the third one is dissolved gases, and the fourth one is organic matter. Now we'll discuss one by one. The first one is dissolved impurities. So the dissolved impurities mainly consist of bicarbonates, chlorides, and sulfates of calcium, magnesium, and sodium. So mainly dissolved impurities, the major portion of the dissolved impurities, which includes the bicarbonates, chlorides, and sulfates of calcium, magnesium, and sodium. Sodium bicarbonate, sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, calcium bicarbonate, calcium chloride, and calcium sulfate, etc. In addition, small amounts of nitrates are also present, nitrites are present, silicates are present, and ammonium and ferrous salts are also present. So, some of the nitrates are highly soluble. Sodium nitrate is highly soluble in water, and some of the silicates and some of the ammonium and ferrous salts, which are also present in the form of a dissolved impurities. These salts are derived from the rock and soils which the water is in contact. So, thus the water is in contact with the limestone. For example, if the water is in contact with the limestone, calcium carbonate, which is in contact with the water, and the water contains the dissolved carbon dioxide. So, the dissolved carbon dioxide and in water reacts with the calcium carbonate and it subsequently gives the calcium hydrogen carbonate, and this calcium hydrogen carbonate is present in the dissolved form. So in general, groundwater contain more dissolved salts than the surface waters. So surface waters will be less contained with the dissolved water, but the groundwater will be dissolved more with the dissolved salts because it is in contact with the calcium and magnesium salts of bicarbonates, chlorides, as well as the sulfates. So these salts will be present in the dissolved form. Therefore, these impurities in the as in the form of an impurity in the water. So these impurities are called as a dissolved impurities. Now the suspended matter may be both inorganic and organic in nature. And the inorganic materials, the suspended inorganic materials, which include particles such as sand. Sand is a suspended material, clay, which is also a suspended material, silica, and hydroxides of iron and aluminum. So sand, clay, silica, hydroxides of some of the ferrous hydroxides and some of the aluminum hydroxide, which is in the suspended form in the water, which will be derived usually by erosion of the soils. And some of these particles have a large size, and therefore they do not settle down easily. and others are fine particles also, and they are maybe colloidal form also. So all together, so the inorganic materials like sand, clay, silica, and hydroxides of iron and aluminum, which is present in the water mainly as suspended impurities. And the organic suspensions, which include decaying of vegetable matter when it is in contact with the water, which decays and forms secondary products, and that secondary products which will most of the secondary products will float on the surface of the water. So that will be present in the form of suspended impurities, and that suspended impurities are also surrounded by some of the microorganisms. Microorganisms includes the bacteria, fungal bodies, etc., which will be always floating on the surface of the water, is classified as a suspended organic impurities. So the second type of the impurity which is present in the water is a suspended matter, or that impurity is also called as a suspended impurity. Suspended impurity is of two categories. One is inorganic suspended impurities, which include sand, clay, silica, and hydroxides of iron and aluminum, and organic suspended impurities, which includes vegetable and animal matter decays as well as the microorganisms, which will be present in the water in the form of a colloidal form. So such levels of impurities are called as in the suspended matter. Third impurity is dissolved gases. The most important third type of impurity, which is present in the water in the form of a dissolved gas. Now, dissolved gas mostly include one of the dissolved gas is an oxygen, and the second one is a carbon dioxide. Third one, as I said, sulfur dioxide, and traces of nitrogen oxides. So nitrogen oxides will be usually in the form of an ammonia and nitrogen dioxide, even in the nitrogen monoxide also. So the dissolved gases mainly include oxygen, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and ammonia and oxides of nitrogen. So the water which will be used for the boilers will be free from all the four different types of impurities. So the fourth impurity is a purely an organic matter. So the purely an organic matter, organic compounds derived from the decaying of vegetable and animal origin, and which includes usually pathogenic bacteria. So the pathogenic bacteria, microorganisms, and secondary products of vegetable decay, secondary products of animal matter decay, vegetable and animal matter put together, which will be in the form of a colloidal form and which continuously decays in water. So such a type of impurity, which is called as the organic impurities, and these organic impurities are the main source of waterborne disease. So they should be removed before the water getting inside the boilers. So the boiler water, the water which is fed inside the boiler, should be free from all the four different types of impurities. The first one is dissolved impurity. Dissolved impurity is in the form of the calcium, magnesium, and sodium bicarbonates, chlorides, as well as sulfates mainly, and traces of nitrates, nitrites. And the second impurity is suspended impurity. Suspended impurity mainly includes two types. One is inorganic suspended impurity, which is clay, silicon oxide, or some of the hydroxides of iron and aluminum, and organic suspended impurities. So the organic suspended impurity is the decaying of vegetable matter and animal matter. Dissolved gases, dissolved gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen, and sulfur dioxide, ammonia, and some of the oxides of nitrogen, which also should be removed from the water. And the organic matter mainly includes the matter which is the animal and vegetable matter. And along with the animal and the vegetable matter, there is pathogenic bacteria and some of the microorganisms put together will be present in the form of a organic impurity. That impurity should be removed. All the four impurities should be removed before water getting inside the boilers. The boiler water, boiler fed water. So water which is fed to the boiler should be free from all the four different types of impurities and which will be used in industry. Boilers will be commonly used in industry and power generation units, and the specific criteria is fixed for the water which is fed inside the boilers. So that specific requirement of a water which has to be sent inside the boilers is the first one is the hardness. This hardness is due to the dissolved impurities mainly. So hardness should be 0.2 ppm and the soda alkalinity. So this causes the foaming. Soda alkalinity should be as minimum as possible. The limit which is given is 0.15 ppm. And caustic alkalinity. Caustic alkalinity is the all the caustic elements, alkali and alkaline earth elements put together. Caustic alkalinity should be is in between 0.15 to 0.45 ppm, and pH should be maintained between neutral pH. It should be neutral. If it is not neutral, you can take up to pH 10. pH 10 is basic. So 7.5 to 10 pH is maintained throughout the production of superheated steam, and dissolved oxygen should be as minimum as possible. So dissolved oxygen should be completely removed before the water which is fed inside the boilers. So the dissolved oxygen should be less than 0.02 ppm. So these are the main requirement before the water which is fed inside the boilers.